Hey, hey, hey. Hello. Hello, friends. Who's out there? Good evening. Hello. Tell me if you're out there, friends. Drop me a line in the old chat. It is a new Kala in the kitchen, which for those of you joining me for the first time, welcome. For those of you joining me for maybe not the first time, so happy you're back. I am thrilled to do this first one of this new year, 2022. Here we are. Oh my goodness. Um, so I want this is my cooking show, but it's really a talk show while I'm cooking. So whatever brings you here, welcome. And thanks for letting me know if you're here. Drop a line in the chat and let me know if you're actually planning on cooking with me, because I heard a couple of you might even have prepped some ingredients and might want to cook dinner alongside me. How fun! We're just giving this a shot, and the while if you are doing that, let me know. And also, this would be a good time to like chop up your potatoes. I peeled mine and chopped them up, and your chicken. This would be a good time to chop that up into bite-sized pieces, because bite-size is faster to cook. Everything, I like to cut it bite-sized, so it's faster to cook, and it tastes better. You get all the sauce on there, more sauce per surface area, right? So welcome again, and let's get started with showing you the recipe, which here we go. I'm going to tell you what's in this lovely dish. We were cooking chicken ishtu, which is the non-vegetarian version of what I grew up with, which is the vegetarian version, which is just a potato stew. And this is the chicken version. So I actually made the other veggie version earlier today because I have a vegetarian in my household. So I made him, and I would have normally done this alongside, but this is the chicken, non-chicken, just the potato stew version. I put some peas into this one, and that's all right. I spilled a little bit. This is the exact same version with chicken. So if you're making a veggie version, just add some more potatoes, and it's super delicious. It's like a very traditional dish from Kerala, my home state in India. We use coconut milk or coconut in pretty much all dishes. Land of the coconut. So here are, and I'm really happy today. I want to not only say that I have a production assistant helping me out. We're going to have a little food cam going on, so you can actually watch me cook, because I got some feedback and I wanted to accommodate everyone who's really interested in learning about the cooking. So first, we're going to show you the ingredients. Again, we've got here are our spices. We got some clove, cardamom, cinnamon stick. If you don't have cinnamon stick, go ahead and use cinnamon powder. That works too. Some serrano chili, ginger, onion, and this is the magic stuff. This is the curry leaf, okay? And you can find this in most Indian grocery stores, some Asian, in the refrigerated section. You should ask if you have one nearby. We also have our potatoes chopped up. I used a red potato, and I love using red onion. If you don't have red onion, purple onion, it really should be called, you can substitute regular onion. And I like to add something for color. For the vegetarian version, I used peas, frozen peas. This time I'm using carrots because I love a little orange, and it's, a little extra healthy touch in there. So let's get to cooking, friends, shall we? And I'll tell you about what we're going to talk about too. We're going to, it's January, right? Usually January, I'm all full of energy, have my resolutions going on. I'm very inspired by the turning of the calendar. And this holiday season, which I normally be leading up to that, like what are my resolutions going to be over the holidays? Well, this holiday season, I was very engrossed in something I'd not done in over 30 years, which is college applications for my son. Who knew? Who knew, friends? Anyone out there with a high school senior going through? Wow. Who knew? I don't remember it being at all like this when I did it. And yeah, I think it's become a big machine. So I kind of didn't make any resolutions. And I'm like, heck, it's January. And I was not in the mindset with COVID and all that stuff. So I'm like, no resolution January. Okay. Anyone else out there who made some resolutions or not for the same reasons? Oh my gosh. I have friends joining me. I'm so thrilled. Hi, Kelly. Charles, you guys are my regulars. Anyone else out there? I see a few of you. All right. Say hi. So let me know. Drop me a line, Kelly or Charles, like if you've made resolutions or not for whatever reasons. I want to know what they are and we can share. But I think it's time to now get our cooking started. So bring, look at that. Food cam's working for me. Thanks, production assistant. We've got coconut oil that I've already heated. I'm going to turn it up medium, about a 4 out of 10. So that's coconut oil. I can tell it's smelling quite beautiful and aromatic. And if you follow along the recipe, I should actually, before I forget, you can download the recipe. I'm going to leave that up there. That gives you the both the ingredients and the steps that we're going to follow. So I'll leave that up for a few minutes while you download it. And then we're going to get started here. Okay, so first we are going to take, I gotta refer to my recipe sometimes too to make sure I don't mess anything up. So, okay, we got onion, right? That's all ready to go. And I'm going to add that. Nice gentle sizzle, right? I love these onions. Purple is my favorite color. And I love the sweetness that the red onion adds to this dish. I have made it with regular onion too, and that's totally okay. But there's something about this color, at least, and how it complements the red potato, which I do generally peel, but sometimes I don't feel like peeling. I'm like running late, and it's fine if you don't peel it as long as you wash it okay. So as the onions cook, there are a couple other things that we're going to put in there, which would include our ginger and our green chili. So I got some serranos here. Here are my serranos. I'm going to chop those up. And sometimes when I am running late, and guess what? That's usually most of the time I'm running late. I just slit it. And when I slit it, it still releases all the heat. And it's also good. So I slit it like this into like quarters because I don't feel like it. And maybe I'll even like just chop off the ends so it'll kind of separate. So it'll be like long strips. And I toss that in, break it up a little bit. And usually for this amount, so I'm doing about 1.5 pounds of chicken, which I've already chopped up. Didn't show you that yet. This is not the best spatula, apparently. That's okay. I'll fix that. So I'm going to add in 2 serranos because I think we like it pretty spicy around here. And I'm not really sure of the heat of these particular ones. But, yeah, so we get that, right? So that's going. And then, very important aspect to the Ishtu is fresh ginger, okay? So what I do is I do different things. Sometimes I chop it up, but today I thought I would, I'm just peeling it a bit so we don't get the peel in there. And I am going to use a microplane, my handy dandy microplane, and I'm just going to grate this directly. And it's hard to say exactly how much this is. I'd say a good inch for like a skinny piece. This is like a fat section of the ginger. So I just kind of eyeball it. And you can see I'm doing a pretty good amount. And you got to remember to scrape off the stuff from the back. These are tricks I learned while watching Food Network. And really, I've watched a lot of Food Network over the years, and it really did give me the confidence to try new dishes, and it like always inspires me. So I hope, friends, that me cooking this Indian chicken dish will inspire you. And this is probably not something you've tried before, unless you've been over to my house. You might have, or sometimes I do make this for guests a lot, because it's quick, it's really tasty, and it's very satisfying and hearty, right? So if you have a lot of people over, I normally would have doubled this dish, but I thought for this pan, a pound and a half would be perfect. And that's enough for dinner for my family tonight. They're eating more and more these days, so we won't have many leftovers. But okay, so we got onion, ginger, and green chili, right? Sauteing until it's soft. And then, in the meanwhile, I'm going to take my lovely mortar and pestle and add in the spices that I showed you. So we got the clove. And for this amount, I do about, I don't know, 5 or 6 cloves. Depends on how many come out of the jar. That's about 3. That's about 7. We're going to go for 7. Okay, so we got, that's clove, right? Then we got cardamom. And I love cardamom out of the pod. My mom, last time she was here, she like de-podded so many. And I keep them in this nice little, that was a lot of work for her. Thanks, Mama. But this is so nice to have these pods ready to go. And each little green pod that you might have seen before has, I don't know, depends, maybe 5 or 6 seeds in it. So I am going to add about a decent amount, because these are really aromatic and beautiful floral. That's an important part of this dish. And then the cinnamon. So you guys must have heard at some point about all the explorers who came to Kerala, which is the land of spices, and they came because all of these spices are native there and grow beautifully. I have in my relatives' yards, they have, black pepper growing rampant, nutmeg, gorgeous, gorgeous spices. And so whenever possible, I bring those back from India. And I love using the fresh spices. So this is a good size cinnamon stick. I think I'll just use like about half of it. Maybe more. Maybe I'll change my mind. And then I smash these up a bit. That releases some of the flavor. Mortar pestle, right? Ooh, it smells good. Okay. Okay, and I dump that in. Should I get rid of the recipe thing? Oh, the chat. Oh, I think someone's chatting here. Food cam, people like it. All right. Hey, I have a resolution here from a friend. Putting myself first. Charles, are you sure you're going to do that now? I hope so, because I know you, and you're a giver. So just remember, self-care, numero uno, so you can take care of others. That is one of my main things. And hey, you knew that I was going to even mention that later, but we were going to mention it twice. All right, thanks for sharing. So back to our dish. So this is coming along really nicely. I got all my spices in there. Well, not quite, actually. A very important spice in this dish is pepper. So I have like massive amounts of pepper. I'm going to just be grinding for a while because this is a really important black pepper. And sometimes I do take the black peppercorns and smash them with my mortar. But honestly, I'm not a big like pepper fan in terms of like biting on big chunks of pepper. So I just like to add freshly ground pepper, a ton of it. So that smells divine. And it also, it's just, don't be shy with pepper, okay? That is good stuff. And then there's always the salt that I kind of add. I try to layer it. So it, and I learned this trick from my mother-in-law. Apparently it helps keep the onion from like sticking since it's kind of abrasive. So switch this over. So here we go. Oh, look at how good that looks. All right, we are coming along in our dish. It's smelling gorgeous, looking quite lovely. I do say so myself. So the next step is coming up fast. So here we go. So these onions look pretty well sauteed. And now it's time for the chicken. All right, here we go. So I have, this is 1.5 pounds. And like I said, I often double this recipe. If you're having guests, and I make it in a deeper pot. I'm going to add this chicken right there. And when you add this chicken, you add a little bit of, so you know how I had, I don't know if I showed you my coconut milk, but here's my can of coconut milk. I add a little bit to get this started. And you're going to use that's more than a little bit. That's okay too. I'll end up using most of this can. I'm going to eyeball that at the end. So you have a nice little coating for the chicken, right? Usually about 2 or 3 tablespoons. That's probably 3 or 4, and it's really fine. And then what I didn't have handy, which I meant to get, is a little bit of water, which I will grab a little water, and we're going to start cooking soon. So let me grab a little bit of water, maybe like a cup or so. Okay, here I'm back. Here I am. Here's my water. We got some water, and I actually add water according to how many potatoes. And this, I think I'll add a good amount of these potatoes. This is when you add the vegetables. So potatoes, and I'm going to crank up the heat because this is the part that's going to take a little bit of time, and then we'll get back to our conversation. So this looks like a good proportion of potatoes to chicken, and we can also add our carrots. So that looks pretty good. And then as this heats up, what I'll do is I'm toss in the carrots too. Yeah? Yeah. So, wow, this is coming together nicely. You can also add, like I said, peas, cauliflower. Those are all nice. And you don't need much. This was like, I used 2 not very big carrots for this. You can also try adding like frozen peas and carrots. Sometimes you can get peas carrots combo. That's good, and you can add that later because you don't need that to cook as much because those are just need to really heat through. But these are raw, so I'm adding them here. And I think you don't want it to be super watery at this stage. I will add a little bit more water. It looks like I could use a tad more water, and then like I said, I'm gonna. Oh, and then I want to add some more salt because for all this, the salt I'd add previously is not sufficient. And guess what? Salt makes it taste a lot better. And so it's about a tablespoon, I think, roughly tablespoon-ish. And I'll have to try it later to see if we need more. So that looks good. I hear it bubbling. I'm stir in the salt here. And that's, what's the one last thing that we didn't put in? Don't forget about the curry leaves, guys. I almost did. You can actually add curry leaves at various stages. So I usually add some at this stage, so it'll kind of cook into the gravy. And then at the end, you can put a nice garnish of fresh curry leaves on there. And that really kind of, it helps the nose. So look at these curry leaves. First, can you see it in my camera? There we go. I just pull them off. I would say that's about 10, 15. These are smaller. My sister has a humongous curry leaf tree, and whenever I go to Texas, she hooks me up with a big Ziploc, and It's been, a few weeks since she gave them to me, and they've been in the fridge, and look, they look great still. If you package them correctly, they really do last a while. And then when they start to look a little droopy, I do stick them in the freezer just to kind of have them on hand until the next time I can get fresh. So a little tip for you. So that is pretty much it. So guess what? Sometimes I make this in a pressure cooker, but I thought for this purpose, I thought I would just make it in this pan because I think it's easier to see the progress. And the pressure cooker, you have to, or the pressure cooker, the Instant Pot. That's another thing which I have tried. It just takes a little bit of time to heat up the pressure cooker and heat up the Instant Pot. So I thought this would work better. So I could show you guys, and this wouldn't be an hour-long show. And see, do you see how it's bubbling? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close it, put the lid on it, and we are going to let that sit while we turn back to our topic at hand, no resolution January. Now, that might sound like, I'm going to turn this guy off for a little bit. And, so I think my dad is here. Hello, Dad. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining in. They just got back from a trip to visit my sister, and so they're back and they're watching. Love that. So I wanted to really turn our conversation to, how I'm kind of approaching things. I think everyone's kind of tired of this prolonged pandemic situation. I mean, we thought we were kind of in the clear, but we're not, clearly. And everyone's exhausted, fed up, disillusioned, all that. And, I think as part of that was another reason I didn't like resolutions and stuff seem a little, I don't know, a little outdated, at least for me. So I really have kind of changed my attitude to go with more like, adapting with the times, and really kind of thinking about how I want to approach. It's more about my attitude and my broad intentions. So what are those broad intentions? Because to be clear, I am big about visioning. I'm going to do my vision board soon. I have even been teaching visioning and planning and road mapping your life. So I'm a big proponent of all that, but I am approaching it from a different mindset, which is, okay, so here are my three go-tos, right? My January intentions, or whatever you want to call it. Number one, I'm really trying to embrace the gratitude. It might sound a little trite because, we hear about it, but really actually embracing it and living in gratitude is it's a bit of a step for me in the right direction. So I'm really trying to be very grateful for everything that I have, my health, my family, my friends, my community, so much richness. And, there are things that I feel like I want, and I've actually put there on the vision board sometimes, and those things haven't manifested. Like, I've wanted a bigger kitchen, for example. But instead of like thinking about, oh, I didn't get my bigger kitchen yet, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a cooking show from my little kitchen and bring about my love of cooking, try and share that and connect with others during the pandemic. I mean, that's kind of a twist on my previous attitude about, maybe being a little resentful or, wishing something were different. Why don't we just be happy with what we have more, right? So, and putting it out there, like being real, because that's number two, people. Being real is my go-to now. I don't think anyone can say that there aren't a few silver linings with this pandemic. And one of them that I've noticed is that people cannot they can't pretend anymore. There is an air of like, let's just be honest, because I just can't hold it in. It's too hard. And So there's a lot more honesty. There's a lot more sharing of the difficulties. And, I just really am hoping to live that myself, be the ear for other people, and hopefully bring about less uh, less of a need to feel perfect and everything's great and Instagram perfect, right? I mean, yeah, sure, I love to show those pictures too, but I think in the interactions with people, if we could just be more real about our struggles, that will go a long way. And you know I've been thinking a lot because um, we've had heard some really awful news recently in our community. We had lost a beloved teenager, and part of that was due to um, they were in a terrible accident, and they were with a driver who was numbing themselves. And to turn things to a very serious point, like there is so much numbing going on in our kids, in our schools, in our community. And I just want to know why. Like, why are we feeling the need to numb instead of feel, right? And I feel like if we're real with each other, we don't have to pretend, and we don't might not want to numb, right? So I, you know, I'm hoping that I want to feel, and I want to allow others to feel and feel comfortable feeling, even when it's the sticky, hard stuff. So that's my intention about being real. And I guess in general, being more intentional and really service minded. Like, how can I help? How can I help be my best self, and how can I help others in any way that I can? I try to put that front and center. It is hard to do some days, but I think kind of focusing on how we can help others, that to me is the best solve when things are hard for me. If I put myself in someone else's shoes, it all feels like, we both gain. So those are my New Year's intentions out there for you. It sounds like some action is going on in my pot, and I'm going to reshare. Looky, people. Whew, that looks good. You see that? So it looks like our chicken is fairly cooked, and I think um, the last step in this, once this is fully cooked, and I'll check on it. Um, I think it's going to take a few more minutes. I just want to be sure. But what I will do is also I will add more of the coconut milk, because what we like, I want to show you guys like the color that I go for. You don't need it too milky, but and so this is kind of one of those judgment calls. So that looks more like it to me. And so I'm going to let this cook a bit, and I'm going to garnish it with extra curry leaves at the end. And I will post a picture when it's all done. Oh, and what are we going to serve this with? I don't know if you saw my little picture, but I'm going to make this Kerala paratha, which you can get in the frozen section. It is the best. Super flaky. It's a bread, and you just have to heat it up and it's delicious with this. It also goes with rice. It goes with velepam, which is another dish I'll bring to you another time. And I think I'm going to wrap it up today, my friends. So I just want to end by checking in on the chat. And looks like, I got Deirdre and Dominique here. How awesome. Oh my God, friends. I love that you're here from all over the country. And I wanted to share one of my dear friends. You guys have met Kelly before, if you've been with me. So this is, we started every meeting today by sharing how many of us had kids at home because of a snow day, despite no actual snow, which meant a shared experience among a lot of working moms who are tired, frustrated, and trying to do 2 jobs at once. Bless you, my goodness, especially the ones with little kids and snow days on top of a pandemic. Thanks for sharing, Kelly. I am with you, as you know, in spirit, and it is tough. Thanks for sharing. I hope you've had your community sharing um, that's helped get you guys through. And I think I'm just gonna like wrap up by I want to do some sort of cause related or something inspirational at the end of the show. Um, and as it was Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday on Monday, and many of us had it off, I want to show this quote of his. We all can't be famous, but we all can all be great, and we become great when we serve others. So true. Thank you so much, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and to all those who put service first, all of the healthcare workers, all of the hardworking parents and first responders, and all those folks out there. And thanks for doing your best. And so I hope you guys have enjoyed the cooking and the conversation. And I look forward to hearing more from you. Share any pictures if you did decide to cook. And we will catch you next time. And until, just remember this, okay? You guys are all superheroes. You have that hero inside, but you got to take care of yourself so you can take care of others. All right? So, in honor of Martin Luther King, and foodies, eat well and serve well. Okay. And we will catch you next time on Call in the Kitchen. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.